Good day, everyone. Our topic is all about the social work, services, processes, and methods. The table of content is first, other areas of professional activity in social work. Second, social problems and social services. Third, concerns and scope of social work around the world. Fourth, change process in social work. Fifth, professionalization of social work practice in the Philippines. And last, social work stereotypes. Our objective was at the end of the presentation, the students are able to first identify other areas of service and practice in social work. Second, explain the history of professionalization of social work practice in the Philippines. Third, show an understanding of the social work stereotypes. Last, illustrate the different process and methods involved in undertaking social work. So, other areas of professional activity in social work. A social worker may also find himself or herself working as a researcher, consultant, supervisor, planner, program, program and policy developer, or a college instructor. Aside from possible employment in social service agencies, workers, provided they have received the necessary training, can provide counseling, psychotherapy, or a group therapy which corresponding professional fees. The social is remunerated with professional fees in the same way that a physician in private practice is remunerated for his or her professional services. Take note, social worker not only provide assistance and care but also find ways to empower the marginalized. Tapos, it's social work. Pwede ito nila maging, pwede maging researcher, consultant, planner, supervisor, tapos pwede daman maging college instructor. Tapos, itong daman, pwede niya maging like it private practice nga itira services ginbabaydan. Asya iton, social worker daman, pwede tiya maging sugad ito nga ginbabaydan.
Concerns and scope of social work around the world. An imbalance in the society occurs when the following circumstances are becoming prevalent. Number one, the gap between the privileged and less fortunate is exponentially widening. 2. The stigma on mental illnesses is getting stronger. 3. Crime rate is increasing even under the rule of law and order. 4. The dissolution of the family is rampant. And number 5, violence in families is becoming acceptable. So, nagkakamayda kita concerns hit imbalance hit society kay may da mga gimpa-prioritize nga mga tao, for example, mga privilege kontrahan mga less fortunate na waray mga kwarta. So, syempre, mga tao nanganginayang kwarta, so eragi proprietors and may da kwarta kung di hiram benefit. Tapos, violence in families is becoming acceptable. Parang pangangastigo is nagiging gino-normalize na lahit pamilya, kag anak, kay they think na asya it magiging dahilan para mapasunod iti anak.
Social problems and social services. Generally speaking, one finds social worker dealing with and attending to problems on the following area. 1. Poverty and public welfare. 2. Emotional problems and counseling. 3. Family problems and services to families. 4. Sexual orientation, sex variances, and sex therapy. 5. Drug abuse and drug treatment. program services. 6. Crime, juvenile delinquency, and correctional in education and school. 7. Work-related problems. 8. Racism, ethnocentrism, and strategies for advancing social and economic justice. 9. Sexism and effort for achieving equality. 10. Aging and gerontological services. 11. Medical problems and medical social service. 12. Physical and mental disabilities and rehabilitation. And last, overpopulation, misuse of the environment, and family planning.
Change process in social work. Social work is in itself a process of changing a client's state of being. The change is initiated by the social worker by influencing concerns to improve their lives in order for a social worker to effectively create the desired change. He or she follows an organized process. According to Zastro, the social worker begins the change process by defining issues and questions or concerns and problems that need to be addressed. After having identified these problems, the social worker then performs an in-depth collection and analysis of data in order to find the appropriate answers to the questions raised. Social workers then set plans by defining the objectives or goals that must be met in the change process. After the client is accorded to the needed services, the social worker will evaluate the entire process by conducting a SWOT analysis. This is a form of monitoring and learning that the social worker employs so that the process he or she used may be further improved, especially when he or she encounters similar or even complex cases in the future. To effectively change a client's state of being, we need to follow Zastro's organized process that begins in defining issues and questions or concerns or problems aton client. Tapos, itaton social worker is nagsisetiran goal para kung ano't maa-attain at the end of the process or in the process. Nag-conduct naman ito rin SWOT analysis para magkamayda ka record kung magiging effective ba or dere. And kung maging effective manini, pwede nila magamit para next client nera nga sugadit case han imo.
Professionalization of social work practice in the Philippines, the case of PASWE, or PASWI. Established on November 12, 1947, the Philippine Association of Social Workers, INC, or PASWI, paved the way to the professionalization of social work practice in the Philippines. Its membership is composed of social workers practicing in various settings and catering to various clients and contexts. The PASWI lobbied the passage of RA 4373, a law which regulates the practice of social work and the operation of social work agencies in the Philippines. The law was enacted on June 19, 1965. In 1967, the law was amended through the enactment of RA 5175. So, iningiya, in ANPASWE or PASWI, amayaan naging way nga maging professional and social work. Tapos, asya diba nito nga nagkamay-adahin Republic Act nga 4373 kay para ma-maintain and practice hadto nga social work.
Professionalization of social work practice in the Philippines, the case of PASWE. The amendments, according to social work educator Edwin I. Larisa, included the protection of the rights of social workers holding professional appointment for the past 5 years at the time of the passage of law. Republic Act 5175 also provides that the graduates of a 4-year eventually take the board examination. since Pathway values and promotes a high sense of professionalism in the practice of social work. It must also uphold the professional standard of a social work practice its objectives.
Social work stereotypes. Being a social worker is not easy task. Stereotypes towards a certain profession are developed among people who do not understand the work practice. Some people regard social workers to be moralistic, upper middle class people who barely understand the plight of their clients. However, through time, there has been a changing perception towards social workers, and social work practice is gaining a more positive image due to the more professional nature of training and services provided by a social practitioners. Stereotype, a widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of a person or thing.
Social work stereotypes. In the United States alone, there are several stereotypes identified by Melvin Glaser that certain segments of the population hold toward the practice of social work. The following are some of these by Zastro, 1996. The social work is kind, warm, generous, helpful person who makes it possible for people to live richer, more satisfying lives. The social worker is a frustrated maiden who meddles in other people's business. The social worker is knowledgeable, dedicated crusader for the needs of all people, particularly the underprivileged. The social worker is a radical whose real underlying motive is to bring about the change in the social order. The social worker is a hard-hearted, denying administrator of rules and regulations who checks on people to see that they do not cheat the agency. The social worker is a professional whose training and experience enable him or her to help with a wide range of problems people have in everyday life living.
Any questions? Your presenter, Cristina Cassandra Ecaldre,
And Shane Gabarnes,
and now signing
signing off.